Thank you so much for staying with us and welcome back to the program. During the past week, the National Assembly Conference Committee on Electoral Act Amendment Bill adopted the reordered sequence of the 2019 general election. 2 weeks ago, the House of Representatives began the process to amend the Electoral Act. What this means is the presidential election will be coming last after the federal lawmakers, governorship and state assemblies, and then the presidential. Let me show you how it will look versus what INEC has earlier announced. It's the case of saving the best for the last, or there is more to it. Well, the lawmakers said the bill was not targeted at anyone, but aimed at giving credibility to the electoral process. Take a look at how it will be. On the left of your screen is what the National Assembly and the lawmakers are proposing. They are saying that there will probably be 3 days of election. That means perhaps 3 different weekends. In what INEC has released, there is an interval of about 2 weeks between the first election and the last one. But this one that they're proposing in the amendment will have the National Assembly elections perhaps on one weekend, and another weekend is going to be the state houses of assembly and the governorship elections, and on day 3, it's going to be the presidential election. So it's like we're twisting and reshuffling these whole agendas. So we put it there for you so you can make sense of it. So let's find out what exactly in law this means, and practically speaking, for Nigerians, for you as a voter, wherever you may be across the country, what does this mean for you? Mr. Festus Keyamo, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, has been our guest on the program. Let's continue with the conversation now. With this reordering of the sequence, is it political?
Well, it's obvious that it is political, but it is illegal. It is unconstitutional. I can tell you that straight away.
Really? Why?
Now, Section 153 establishes these federal executive bodies, and INEC is one of them. Now, the powers of INEC, they are contained, I think, in Section 15 of the 3rd schedule to the Constitution, where the Constitution uses 2 words advisedly, that INEC is to organize and undertake. Those are the 2 words used advisedly. INEC has powers to organize, undertake, elections and blah, blah, blah in Nigeria. Now, organize means, of course, to arrange. If you look at the meaning of organize, it's to systematize. Systematize means, for example, go and systematize some files in your office. Know which one to put at the top, to put the one and to put below, to put the one to arrange at the middle, to put at the middle. That is organize. That's to organize something. Undertake is to actually conduct. So INEC does not just have powers by the Constitution to conduct, which is to undertake, is to systematize it, is to organize it. Organization means they need to know which one comes first, which one comes last, how to arrange it in such a way. I think that is the most crucial part. It's not even Section 76 that says INEC should fix the dates for elections and all that. No, it is to organize
because
it.
I would say, the argument again is that INEC has been given the power to even fix the date for election. But what the law is silent about, the law has never said, you will set the sequence and the order in which the election will come.
The law has said so.
No, but Section
15 says organize. Organize means to put in a system.
But that's an inference, the senior advocate.
It is clear because what differentiates organize from undertake? Undertake is just to conduct. But the Constitution was very clear when it says organize, then undertake. Why did the Constitution use those 2 words?
But could it also mean that the Constitution is not very explicit, maybe on how the election, INEC can organize the election, systematize it, but is not specific on how the elections will come in any case. It will come in one weekend.
That's the meaning of organize. Undertake is to conduct elections, which we know generally.
But you are saying what the National Assembly has undertaken, this amendment, is illegal.
It's illegal because they cannot dictate to INEC. Don't forget that INEC also has a bird's eye view of its resources, the resources at its disposal, and how to put these resources to use. The National Assembly does not have access to this type of how its personnel, for example. Its personnel, its manpower, its resources and all of that. That, of course, will play a key role in knowing whether they should organize it 3 times, like they are splitting into 3 now. Whereas INEC was trying to split it into 2. You know, so these are the issues involved. So you cannot just impose a law on INEC when it does not meet its own, resources at its disposal.
So you're saying it's illegal for the National Assembly to take up the role that is being constitutionally
to dictate to INEC.
Is that dictating or amending the law?
No, it's not to dictate. They cannot amend. They have to go and amend the Constitution. They cannot amend the Electoral Act to be in conflict with the Constitution. That amendment of the Electoral Act is in conflict with the powers given to INEC by the Constitution.
So this does have a political implication.
Because they don't want to work for the president.
Okay, it's a present issue.
Yes, I think they just
it's not
political.
Something futuristic.
They want to do the elections first and leave the president, because if the presidential election comes first, they all work for the president. They must all work for the president to ensure his victory before it comes to them. Especially when you hold the National Assembly and presidential one day, So it's all political. I'm not for one side, but
politically speaking,
nobody, people are afraid of betrayal here and there. So when you put presidential and National Assembly together one day, they must work for themselves.
The destinies are tied.
Together. The destinies are tied together.
But this time around, they want to.
That's
separate.
Probably the. They want to get off the ground. Yes, that's absolutely.
But you've been following the ongoings in the political atmosphere, and you see the issues of the third first, the movement. For a moment, the former president Olusegun Obasanjo has asked this president not to seek re-election. Do you think he should yield to the advice of the former president?
I have said this before in another interview in the station, that there are two parts of those letters written by, I think, the Obasanjo, and I think Babangida also wrote a similar letter too. And the two parts of the letter is that, one, they highlighted the problems of the country, very articulate and very well, and we must accept that part of the letter, where they talk about the headers conflict, they talk about the economy and all of that. Look, there's nobody who would deny them the right to highlight those problems. And we must accept that message. You cannot throw away the message and the messenger. So that part of the message is absolutely necessary. And government is already working on all of these areas, and we encourage them to work on these areas. Now, that part of the letter is over. The next part of the letter is that when they now say, look, having highlighted this problem, we want to show you the roadmap. This is the way to go. At that point, I said, look, I'm sorry. These two leaders cannot show us the roadmap. Why? At that point, you must reject the message and the messenger.
Why do you think?
Because they had opportunities in the past and bungled it.
Maybe
Babangida spent 40 billion naira on a transition program to nowhere. You were there. SDP and Arus that ended in fiasco at the end of the 8 years to nowhere.
And
40 billion.
Mr. Keyamo, if you just a moment.